Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Ryan. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requests in any type of videos, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, movie review, re-review, video game playthrough for an hour, full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, to have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box. And he wanted me to talk about, I believe it's a favorite film of his, Horton Hears a Who from 2008, of course based on the Dr. Seuss story. Now there's been a lot of Dr. Seuss stories made into media throughout the years. There's been The Grinch, of course, multiple incarnations. My favorite being the one that Boris Karloff, the old cartoon back to the day. I think the songs are memorable. Not big on the Jim Carrey one. I know a lot of people love that one. The one from, well, it's more than a couple of years ago, Benedict Cumberbatch. It was there. I could take it or leave it. But then there was The Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers, which was the worst Dr. Seuss by far adaptation, to the point that I think is it his widow? Whoever runs the Dr. Seuss estate said there's no more live action adaptations of Dr. Seuss stuff. That's how bad Cat in the Hat. I know they're doing another one animated, and I would have to believe that will be better than the Mike Myers one. I remember there was one, it was like a show, Green Eggs and Ham. I remember not minding that because I'm like, oh, Michael Douglas is one of the voices. And yeah, I remember not minding that for what it was. I remember liking it. It's been a while since I've seen it. And in this film, to be honest, I had not seen this film since it came out. I mean, 2008 was a year where I remember seeing Rambo 4 in the theaters. I was working at the video store called Mr. Movies. And so when movies would come in, I would just rent at these like up to 5 or so. Because when you worked there, you could get stuff for free. The idea being you watch them, and then when customers ask your opinion, you know at least a little bit of what the movie is. Granted, you're supposed to say, yeah, it's good, because I didn't. I was just honest. To be perfectly honest, a lot of people did not ask your opinion on whether a movie was good or not. Like, they were pretty sure on what they were going to rent anyway. So, that line of thinking really didn't matter at that point. Just no one asked you, hey, is this a good movie? No one did. But anyway, I'm just like, hey, it's free. Even if I not that curious, it's free. I could fast forward through it. I could do whatever. Horton Hears a Who, that was the last time I saw it. And the movie as is, I think it's okay. It's an alright movie. I think it helps that you have people like Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, you doing voiceovers as the two main characters. Other people that pop up, Seth Rogen, sadly, because I'm not a Seth Rogen guy. There's some films he's in that I don't mind, Superbad, even Observe and Report. It just, as the years have grown, I like him less and less. Santa Inc., that terrible Ninja Turtle film he did. Among other stuff. Jonah Hill, he has a bit part. I always liked Jonah Hill. Don't know about him personally, but I always liked him in movies. Get him to the Greek, I remember not minding. He was very funny and Superbad. I liked him in The Wolf of Wall Street. To be honest, I can't even remember the last thing he did. I love 21 and 22 Jump Street. Carol Burnett. She has a part as the main villain, this kangaroo, who's a real bitch. Will Arnett, who's done a lot of stuff, he's in this as a vulture hired by the kangaroo to go get one of the characters. And I guess before I go further, the story of the film is you have, and I do bring this up a bit, there we go. The story of the film is Jim Carrey, who is very talented. I've always been a Jim Carrey fan. Again, I don't know about him personally, but as a talent, he's very funny. From In Living Color to the Ace Ventura films to Dumb and Dumber to Me, Myself, and Irene to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. There's a lot of films of his I do like. And he hasn't done as much animated stuff, and I should think he would be a natural as a voice actor. So I'm a bit surprised he has not done a lot of animated stuff. Maybe by choice, but it seems like he would be he would fit very well in that type of thing. But he plays an elephant named Horton, who at times teaches these kids. One of the kids is Jonah Hill. Another one of the kids, she's a bit of a space cadet, where she's not quite there. She's very small. And she's like, "Oh, how's it going?" And what the hell was the thing? I thought of a world where they eat rainbows and poop butterflies. Like she's out there. So from time to time he'll teach these kids stuff, and he's a very optimistic character. And one day, the very beginning of the film, you see this journey where the speck on this flower, or pollen, however you want to put it, just floats up, down, and center everywhere until it gets to the presence of Horton. And Horton hears something, and he realizes it's coming from the speck. Now, everybody thinks he's crazy. Carol Burnett pretty much keeps saying, I don't want kids to be taught this way and to use their imagination. To be honest, the villain's motivations, I always thought was really vague. Like, not vague, but really just slim. Like, really? This is what she has a problem with? Really? I mean, granted, she's a villain. And sometimes in these films, the villain could be butthurt about anything. But I'm like, I just thought the villain's reasoning, and then everyone falling so easily prey, victim to this reasoning, it just felt very wheat sauce. I don't know, I thought it was very slim, very anorexic, very Ally McBeal type of reasoning to have a villain. And to be honest, I don't think you needed a villain. I think just have it be where it's the elements and the journey and how the perilous journey of the land and getting to this place was enough of a struggle that I don't think you needed an antagonist, and it just felt a bit forced, in my opinion, that is. I'm fine with people having doubts, and that's why nobody helps him, so he has to do it himself. That I don't mind, but I'll get to that later. So no one believes him. His buddy's a mouse, played by Seth Rogen. The only one that kind of believe in him, but use their own imagination, are the kids, like Jonah Hill and the little space cadet creature and other stuff. Anyway, he goes on this journey, and from time to time, he'll cross this wooden bridge. He'll be chased by this vulture hired by Carol Burnett. Meanwhile, on the speck is this whole city called Whoville, in which the mayor is played by Steve Carell, who has a wife, has about 96 daughters, and has one son. The one son doesn't talk. He brews a lot because his father doesn't understand him. His father is very chipper and happy with him, but keeps saying, "Oh, you don't be a great mayor," and you can tell this kid isn't really into that. And the mayor starts noticing things, go crazy. These were earthquakes. And then one day he hears, because his device, he hears Horton. He thinks the guy's crazy at first, but then when Horton says, well, I have to make it, there's no son, no son, he starts believing in it. So Steve Carell tries to tell people, other than this one kind of scientist lady, nobody believes in him. And when he tries to explain a bit more, they think he's crazy. You could tell, he doesn't say, but you could tell his son wants to believe in his dad, but the others don't. And it goes back and forth between the two. Between that world where Horton is and the Whoville world. And I mean, like I said, it's inoffensive. It's harmless. It's short enough that it's not too overlong. The animation is fine. like I said, it doesn't really do anything that bad or horrible. It's not like, oh, here's a bunch of fart jokes or weird innuendos that doesn't fit with an animated, kids film, because that's what it is. It's just that for me, maybe not for Ryan or others, just for me, I just didn't feel anything special about it. I did with the story, with the comedy. I just thought it was there. I didn't think there was anything that really elevated it to higher attributes, like a Toy Story, like a Finding Nemo, like a Wall-E, or there wasn't this kind of memorable zest and energy that I saw in other animated films. It just was kind of there. I don't think he really took a lot of risks. I don't think it played things rather safe. I mean, it's based on a Dr. Seuss story, to be fair. But I don't know, just one of those things that I was watching, I'm going, okay. And that mindset just kept repeating itself in my brain as I'm watching it. Jim Carrey, he does what he can, and he's very talented, and that's very fun to see. Very fun to see that. To see how he gets into these little attributes as the elephant, and the way the elephant plays with, for example, he's ready to dive and uses his ears as like a little cap before he's ready to dive. The little sound effects and noises he'll make when he's being scared. Steve Carell, he does fine. But again, there's not any big comedic lines or moments that really stick out for me. I just watched this the other day. But then what sticks out is the one guy having 96 daughters, which, Jesus Christ. I wouldn't want to be him. To have technically 97 kids with the one son. To have 97 kids. But the bits where he's got to go talk to them very quickly, and it becomes not a montage, but he's with this for 10 seconds, this girl for 10 seconds. Or there's one time at night where one wants to drink a water, then another and another. And then next time you see him, he has 90 glasses of water that he's balancing. One moment that I thought was kind of cool was the way the boy sneaks out, and he's going to go to this area he likes to hang out with by himself. And how nonchalant he is, where he's doing these slingshots and doing all this stuff with no fear. Even though in real life we'd all have fear, but he's done this so many times. There's this bit where he's swung up, and he's kind of in this pose, his hands in his pockets. And then when it comes up, he just, like that, and just walks forward. Something about that I thought was kind of funny. Just the nonchalantness of... Or really it was kind of he knows it swings up perfectly, so it'll land right there, and he just walks forward. Just something about that, I'm okay, that's as simple, or maybe I'm the only one that would laugh at that, but I did. I kind of wish the kids, like Jonah Hill and the others, I wish they were a bit more intricate to the story. Maybe at one point they decide to have... okay, if the story was the kids, they start hearing what Horton is hearing, and they start believing in Horton, and they want to help out, and Horton's, I don't want you, but at the same time he's this optimistic guy. He's well, I would like the company, and I don't want to be alone. And then the kids are adamant, even though it's dangerous, because they think it's the right thing to do. And then Carol Burnett, who's got a kid in her pouch, who she pretty much homeschools. And you tell the kid kangaroo wants to get out of there, but is still stuck with his mom. If she sees, he's a danger to the kids, and that's kind of why she does it, to be fair. But it's more of just, they just go off on their own at home anyway, and they just use a little bit of imagination. If it was, oh, he took the kids with him, and now he's putting them in danger, and now they're in constant danger, possible danger because of these beliefs, then I would buy the motivations of the villain a bit more. Like, look what he's doing to your... Like, he's putting them in danger again and again and again. Which is not really the case, because Horton is doing all this by himself. And I'm sitting there going, okay, you want to kick him out of your jungle home. Then just let him go on. If you hate him so much, if you dislike him so much, he's off by himself with this fleck. Just do it. Just let him go then. He'll either die on the way, which seems like you won't care if he dies or not. Or, he'll take the thing. He'll be done. He'll come back, and then you don't have to worry about the speck anymore. Like, why are you so adamant to steal... If you feel there's no society on there, why are you so adamant to get this vulture, to steal this thing, and destroy the speck? Like, why do you care? Because what else is going to happen? Horton's going to come back, he's going to be mad, upset, pissed off of what you did, and then you're going to kick him out anyway. Or he's going to leave, and that's what you want. I don't know. Again, the motivations of the villain I just thought was really weak sauce. I think there's ways you could have done it where it was a bit more... It's stupid to say believable, because it's a Dr. Seuss animated film. I mean, you're not looking for realism in that movie. But I couldn't wrap my brain around what Carol Burnett's issue was, and... Like, they try to explain it, but I'm like, what, really? I don't know. And then, like, there's a point where the vulture takes the flower, drops it, and it's in a field of all of these other flowers that look the same. And it seems like they've been there forever. And I'm like, well, isn't this a perfect spot for them? Because none of these flowers have been touched. They all look the same. They have been... If you look at that, there's a whole field of these flowers for miles and miles and miles. And they all look the same. They all stay there. Granted, this was not planted to the ground, to be fair, but... if a flower's there and you have a bunch on top, it's not going anywhere. It seems like this is the perfect place to go. Or perfect place to stay. Because the reason you didn't want to stay in the jungle there is because you saw all these animals eating different types of flowers. But here, there's miles and miles and miles and miles of these same flowers. So obviously, there are no animals eating them. There's no animals digging them up. There's no animals destroying them. So wouldn't you just leave them there? And wouldn't this be like the perfect spot? Or even like somehow move the speck from or like try to place it. Or even like tie it, like carefully tie one end of the stem of the flower to the other, or anything. It seemed like that would be the perfect spot to leave that there anyway, but then the movie will be over and we don't have the rest of the movie. The stuff in Whoville, I just didn't find that interesting, to be honest. It's pretty much him as the mayor, his son who he doesn't deal along with, or he tries to deal along with, he's not like a dick or anything. And, of course, the council doesn't believe in him, nobody else believes in him, and, like I said, like, other than that, there's not a whole lot that happens in Whoville. And, I just thought, like, Horton, the kids like Jonah Hill, they could have been more intricate to the plot, they could have been more intricate to the story. The motivations of the villain, I thought, could have been a bit more... make a bit more sense to me. It just felt like we just need her to be a villain for villain's sake. And then at the end... whether it leads to another Horton finds the flower again, and then eventually Horton's captured. They got the flower. They're ready to put in this oil. The whole town gets together. They believe in what Steve Carell was saying. They heard Horton. They start screaming and yelling, but they can't get through the sound barrier of their world. Steve Carell's kid is able to break the seal. That way, the Carol Burnett's son, the kangaroo in the pouch, are able to hear the whole little town saying, "We are here." The kid goes, "I hear something." And the other animals, which acted like a damn posse with torches and shit, I didn't really, out of this, because Horton wants to believe, oh, there's a speck on here, cool, and I talk to it. Just because Horton believes in that, it's like, we need a posse, and we capture him in a net, and I'm like, why are you, fascist? Is this a damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Communism? I don't know. Y'all, everyone's like communist or something. I don't know, fascist, whatever. Horton, you maybe should leave no matter what. It seems like these are easily led, dumb as fuck people that you're with that can't handle a guy, even if he's having just a hallucination. Well, if you're worried about him, like if they were worried about him and they're like, oh man, yeah, we can't, live in a fantasy world. But it's just, that's not really what it is. So they hear the noise. Carol Burnett's sad. And then Horton, like, gives her something, like, because his animal has some cookies, and Horton gives her a cookie, and she's easily forgiven. And then she's now gun-ho. I'm like, really? Really? I get that she was proven wrong, and she felt like an idiot, and her son now is, tired of her shit. But it's like, I don't forgive this kangaroo. Sorry. I mean, I get it. Horton is very optimistic. He's a very sweet character. But I don't, fuck. Carol Burnett, from back to the day, talented actress, of course, comedian. But the character is a bitch. I don't buy people, no, fuck this bitch. I'm not, she's still on the shit list. She's still on my shit list. You on my shit list. So I don't know. She still almost wiped out an entire fucking civilization because of her stupid hubris. No, I would not forgive him that easily. Sorry. Oops, I almost killed, thousands or millions of people. Whoops. Will you please forgive me? Fuck no. Not for at least maybe another day. But I just... And they captured Horton. I don't know. It is what it is. And then at the end of the film, they start singing, I can't fight this feeling anymore. I can't fight this feeling anymore. I did like the shot where Steve Carell and Jim Carrey are, of course, in different platforms. But then they split the screen, so it's like they're next to each other, kind of singing, like going back and forth. Like, although I gotta be honest, it almost felt like a sexual moment, almost. Maybe because I do think of the cable guy, where he put the nipple on the. Oh, Billy. But here it's just kind of their back and forth, kind of rubbing against each other, well, against the wall, but kind of doing this is like, okay. And of course I should mention the last time these two were in a film together was Bruce Almighty. Now of course this is anime, so you could do animation and not even meet the person one-on-one, because you're in one booth, the other's in the other booth. But I thought that was a cool shot, this, since they're on different platform, so to speak, to finally have your two main characters in the same shot. That's the way to do it. So I thought that was a neat visual. Now, the people that directed the film, it was two directors. One is Jimmy Hayward, who did Jonah Hex. Yes, with Brolin and Megan Fox. Jonah Hex. And then Steve Martino, he did Ice Age 4. Then was the Continental Drift one, which I don't remember a thing about that movie, to be fair. The only Ice Age I remember is the first one. I don't remember how many Ice Age films they made. But they'll probably make... Well, I think the studio is no longer around, this specific studio that got big because of Ice Age. So I don't even know who owns Ice Age nowadays, or who, if they did make another one, who, I don't know. But anyway, that's not what this is about, so I'm not going to look into it. So as is, again, it's harmless, it's okay. Of course, the bit with the kid not talking, when he eventually does talk, he's a great singer. That's why the voice was hidden for so long in the movie. The message of the film, that a person is a person, no matter how big or small they are, they're still just as important. Again, I just thought that the villains didn't really, I don't know, I don't know if this film needed villains of that nature. I didn't think the villain was that, I mean, I like the design of a kangaroo, villain who always has her kid in her pouch. I like that idea. But I just thought the motivations, I just felt they were a bit too weak for me. Jim Carrey, Steve Carell are talented. It's just, they were fine. But it's not like I go on my way and go, oh, I want to watch a Jim Carrey film, I'm going to watch Horton Hears or Who. I don't have it in my collection. I would never did it. It was, like I said, inoffensive. It was harmless. The animation is fine. The performances were fine. A lot of it was just fine to me. That's just how I feel. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks once again, Ryan, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.